Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Spirits in the Studio. I'm Nancy and I'm a visionary and intuitive artist. If you're new to my channel, I use it to give deep dives about my paintings. Currently, I'm focusing on my celebrity spirit portrait series. However, you do not need to be famous to be in one of my spirit portraits. Just contact me and we'll talk about it. Or I have made other videos about these types of portraits. A spirit portrait, in case you don't know, is a glimpse of the person as their higher self, surrounded by their power animals and botanical allies. So it's an opportunity to step out of ordinary reality. There can be a lot to unpack in these portraits, so please see my other videos in which I go over my process, the value of these portraits, and more. Today, I'm going to talk about the spirit portrait of Nina Simone. So here is a peek inside the uncompromising comet known as Nina Simone. Fearless and fiery, crooning and cutting, this musical prodigy carved her path out of poverty, the cruelty of Jim Crow, and a crippling marriage. Her incendiary talent received critical, familial, and community support on the physical plane. And here are the behind the curtain power animals and botanicals that could also take the heat. Let's start with a supersized horned lark who emboldened Nina with its ability to speak the truth, consequences be damned, and to continue to fly to her heart's desires no matter the headwinds and tailspins of her route. Nina was born into poverty in the Deep South. She certainly had a lot of obstacles to overcome in order to have the career that she had. She is and was an incredibly strong person. I mix up my present and past tenses because I think about how the spirit lives forever, and the spirit of Nina Simone is not gone, is not over. It's just existing in another dimension. So that said, let's move on to Dragon. Here's Dragon over here, partially hidden by this giant poppy. Dragon burns a trail for Nina, along which she can see the possibilities that await her beyond ordinary reality. Nina walks this stunningly bright path with perseverance and the knowing that Dragon guides her to her inner den of smoldering spiritual transformation. And next we have Grasshopper. It makes perfect sense as Grasshopper is a power animal of sound and Nina is a brilliant musician. So Grasshopper was Nina's muse in her life and encouraged her to sing her own unique song. And if you're familiar with her music, it was amazingly unique. So having fled her abusive husband, Coral joined Nina's power animal team in Barbados, facilitating her relationship with a respectful man, grounding her post-flight and nourishing her roots. And then the last power animal is Little Chickadee, who sits cozily in Nina's fire, coaxing her to be gentle and sociable. Nina had a reputation for being incredibly fiery, so it also makes sense that Chickadee would come in and help her balance that. Nina may have also been dealing with mental health issues, but it's safe to say, bare minimum, she had an incredibly strong and confident personality. The next elements I'm going to talk about are her botanical allies. Nina has Salo. That's this plant right here. That's the leaf of it. So the egg-shaped green leaves and sweet berries of Salo are the rugged gifts of Dragon's Womb. Just as Salo is a botanical that offers pleasure by way of its sweetness, it quickly checks your use of it with the sting of poison ivy. Poison ivy and Salo have a symbiotic relationship, and they tend to be found together in nature. So just as some people try to take advantage of Nina, and maybe in the recording studio with her record deals, racially and so forth, they were quick to get stung by poison ivy, or rather, her strong ability to speak up for herself. And next we have Poppy. Poppy lends Nina its narcotic effect, transporting her to the dream state where she communed with musical realms, and I'm sure she's still there now. Poppy is in the background and is kind of transparent. The size of this portrait is 22 by 28. It is available for purchase. This original right here. It is mixed media on wrapped canvas. And very high quality limited edition prints of approximately the same size are also available. Just contact me for inquiries. Please subscribe to this channel as well as my Substack. I write my own material on Substack. I don't use AI. I do use books and oracle cards by other authors to help me formulate the meanings of the power animals that come through to me in my reading, as well as the botanicals. I reference those authors on my Substack. And the deep dives I publish there, I publish about every 2 weeks. I try to be very consistent. And they contain more. They contain links to further the story about the subject. They're meant to be spiritually enriching, entertaining, cultural, and sometimes historical too. And they of course contain the image of my latest painting, and I try to keep them to 1,500 words or less because nobody has time for lots of reading. I get it. Please see the links below to find my Substack, my website, and my Instagram. Thank you so much for following and liking if you care to. And until next time, may your power animals be with you.